Okay, I drained the boiled acorns and I got the bucket of acorns here. And basically, all you're doing is just peeling off. The skin comes totally off of it. And you just end up with a weird brown color, khaki colored nut. And we're just going to put it aside. And you can taste it. And a normal acorn would be edible at this point. But because I'm experimenting with sawtooth oaks, which ends up being one of the most tannic acid oaks out there. I'm going to show you that, we're going to boil this down one more time. I have a dark liquor over there already, and I don't need any more tea. But even if I did, I could still get it out of this. But be right back. Okay, I took the flour and I put it in this bucket here, and I'm putting water in there, and it's leaching it out. And I've got the strainer with a cloth. I've already did one leaching, and you just kind of let it go in there, and then let the stuff settle down. Because if you keep pouring it, as soon as you pour it in there, it's going to end up pouring all your waste out, your starch and stuff, and you don't want to do that. But you can see the color of it right now. It's kind of creamy color, and you don't want that. You want to keep doing this until that runs clear. Here's a bit of the liquor that I made from when I was boiling the actual acorns. I got 2 jars of it. I could have got 3. I don't really need 3, but you can bathe with that and everything. So just keep doing this. Let it sit, and you'll see that soon enough it'll become leached out. And you want to do this in the wild. You may need a bucket like this. You may have to make a bark basket. You can do just in a t-shirt and put it in a creek and let the creek do it for you. It may take a little bit longer for a creek to do it, but it will soon enough leach out. Come back in a minute. Okay, I've been letting this is the third washing that I did. And I just kind of put the water up in here and let it sit until everything settles, because you don't want the starch to come out like I said before. And you just got a little strainer down there, and you just let all the water come out. As you see the color, it's starting to get clear, but it's still a little brown. And you want to keep doing that until it's not even, it runs totally clear. Now, I just ate some of this. This is actually already ready to go. But for safety wise, I'm going to get all the brown color out. And as you see, as we pour slowly, we're getting down to the last bit where the flour was. I'm losing a little bit, but I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's all that flour. See, there's a lot of the starch that we could have lost, but because we're sitting here doing it this way, and you literally see tons of flour right now. And if you take that and put it in your mouth, right now, that's settled. It's totally ready to go. But like I said, I'm going to get the get all the flavor, all the tan color out for safety wise. I only have the strainer. Really need it for the last one, and that's it. But I have the strainer in case it absolutely dumps, goes down the drain, and all my hard work just went to waste. It's just for a safety net. And just fill that up and do it again. Stir it up, let it settle, and we'll get back to processing again. I'm gonna re-boil the shell nuts in a minute because they're still holding a little bit of tannic acid, and I want to get it totally out, but they're not going to have the shells on them. Okay, these are the shelled boiled nuts that I've been working on. I got a lot here. Hardly any work, just let it sit there and boil, and then pick through it when I was done. I'm going to boil it one more last time. Okay, while we're waiting on the boiling and the flour to finish leaching, I want to talk about some advantages of each. Surely the um, roasting of the acorns is turning out to be the fastest thing to do. And it took roughly about 2 hours to roast. Took about 10 minutes to pop, and probably another 10 minutes to go through. So you're talking about 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I'm just leaching it, so, hardly no work at all. You just fill it up with water, let it sit and settle, then you pour it off the water again. So the fastest way, that's probably going to be your fastest way of getting nuts in emergency. And so you don't really want to boil, because when you're boiling, you're going to end up needing a pot. You're going to need a big fire to roast, and you're going to have lots of fuel that you're going to need to gather, because you're going to keep boiling for a long time. So bowling is really going to be a long-term um, situation, and but bowling has its advantages. If you do have a pot or a bark basket or something like that that you can bowl in, the Indians use coal baskets and they use hot rocks in there. It's a lot of work, but you can do it. But the advantage of the bowling is if you're going to be in the wild for a while and you're killing rabbits and deer and whatever, you're getting tannic acid liquor, and I showed you what that was. And that tannic acid liquor you put in a barrel. Say you hollowed out a log with a fire, and you end up having a place to put that liquor in, and you could be soaking your skins. You can be soaking your squirrel skins and your deer skins or whatever, and naturally cure your hide without using brain tannin, which isn't that hard, but real survival situation, you might want to eat those brains, even though chronic waste disease seems to be a big issue now with deer. Not that it's been found in southeastern deer, but besides that, the easiest way to do all this, I mean, this is what you do when you first get out in the woods. You're roasting those acorns, then you can be boiling when you have the materials to boil with, and that way you can get your liquor. But you want to gather a lot of acorns and just go put them in a stream, and you can make a rock thing. You can you can take a sand and dig a hole and in the creek bed that's real close to the water, and just put your acorns in there, and it's going to leach in there, but the sand's keeping them in place. And the animals may find them, and they might get them. So you might need to put a rock over the top that they can't lift up or dig around. But a good canvas bag or something like that, if you did have, would be a plus in this situation, because you can just take the acorns, don't even shell them, don't do anything, and just stick hundreds of pounds of this stuff in the creek, and make sure it's weighted down so it doesn't flow away. You don't want a fast moving river, but you don't want a slow moving river either. And the reason why, slow moving is going to put algae growth. It's going to have a lot of worms. A lot of animals can get to it real easily. They can get infected because of the water might be sitting for a while. Moving water, animals aren't going to be trying to dive in as much. Insects are going to have a hard time getting to it because the current's going to drag them away. So, but a fast-moving creek, extremely fast, especially after a major flood rain, they actually just wash your acorns right down the river, so you lose everything. But when you're sitting on a bank um, in a camp spot and you know you're going to be there, you can literally just have hundreds and hundreds of pounds of this stuff, and you can literally let it leach on its own and crack the nuts after you sun dry them a little bit to keep the mildew down. Crack them, and you just eat it straight out of your hand, and you never needed any firewood. You never needed anything. You just need the time to crack, like I showed you, and just start eating. That's about the easiest way of doing it. Okay, this is the seventh leech. I could have ate this on the third leech, but just for safety wise, I wanted to get as much of that out of it as I could. We're just going to pour this off. You can see how much clearer the water is compared when we start. It's still got a little brown, but this is ready to go. And if you're in the woods, you're hungry, you're not going to mind a little bitterness. I mean, coffee is bitter, tea is bitter. So but it's extremely edible. I mean, I'm not even tasting any bitterness in the actual um, flour. So just slowly get to this point, and then we're going to put it on the strainer. That way we can catch the flour, squeeze out the water. And you don't want to squeeze too hard, because if you squeeze too hard, you can squeeze the starch straight right through that cloth, and you lose a lot of vitamins that way. So, and carbohydrates and stuff like that. Let's see, almost down to the bottom. Okay, it's best just go ahead and go through the cloth this time, because there goes the starch. Starch already went in there. Okay. Now I'm just gonna reach up in there. I don't know if you can see all that. Yep, you can. Just kind of pour slow so it doesn't go off, falls over. Get a nice little good squeezing out of this. Do this fast so y'all can get a good video on this part. And this is a lot of food. I mean, if you were trying to survive and you were hungry, basically I spent a little bit of time, but for a little bit, you know, while I was watching this, could be doing other things, you know, and so it seems like it was a long time. You know, I started this at 3 o'clock with the bowling and cracking the nuts and all that, and right now it's 11 o'clock, and it seems like a lot of time, but in between then I was doing other things. You know, I was making this video, I was, you know, talking to people, I was out doing other stuff. In the woods you can too. Okay, so it's not a lot of hard work, it's time consuming because you're leaching. It's time consuming because you're boiling, and you're not have to sit there. I mean, you can go hunting and come back from a boil and just add more water later on, or you can be gone for 2 hours while it's roasting. Dig a pit with some hot rocks and just stick the acorns in there and roast them. Dig them back up later after you finish roasting them. So there you go. There's a lot of the flour. Like I said, we're just going to take this. This could be a t-shirt in an emergency that you have to do that, or you can use grasses, ferns, leaves, you name it. Okay, there we go. We're just getting the last bit of water. Squeeze that in. Like I said, don't squeeze too hard, because this cloth is so big it'll just squeeze the starch right through. We don't want that. It'll end up with a very fibrous oak, and you don't want acorn, and you don't want it to taste like cardboard. You want to have a good starch in it. Okay, open it up, and there we go. Here is a lot of the starch here. I mean, the acorn flour. That's a humongous amount of food in just a little bit of time. In an outdoor survival situation, you saw how easy that was to gather, how to crack, roast, and do that. It's absolutely hardly any time whatsoever. And so, as you can see, you have this much acorn flour just from the roasted acorns. We're going to find out how much that really is. We roughly got about 4 cups of edible stuff. Now that means the shells and all that, and the water waste. So that's pretty good. I mean, that's a lot of food right there. And I'd definitely get any grown man my size, you know, keep me alive easily. Very little effort. It's a lot easier in hunting if you don't know how to hunt. Make sure you watch the Acorns 3, and then watch the Acorns, you know, medicinal and uses of the acorns also for more information. Hope you're enjoying this, but the third video is going to be about, you know, different ways of actually cooking it, different ways, like, you know, bread and stuff like that. So make sure you watch that one too. Bye-bye.